Governor Peter Mbah of Enugu State has commenced plans to construct a modern transport terminal in Enugu. Earlier in the week, residents and business owners at the crowded Holy Ghost axis who were affected by the proposed modern transport interchange at Holy Ghost reported receipt of their compensation. But the question is, what is the system of operation? Joining us now is the Enugu State Commissioner for Transportation, Obi Ozor. Welcome, sir. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, can you tell us about the idea of the bus terminal and what makes it modern?
So the idea of the bus terminal is to ease the traffic congestion in that particular axis of the state. From a transportation survey we did in August last year, we noticed that 41% of all the metro traffic either originate or terminate around Holy Ghost. And that's why that place has been notorious for traffic gridlock and actually affecting businesses around that area.
And now, the governor made a really bold statement saying that this project is something that can be completed in one year.
Yeah.
What are the measures that are being put in place to achieve that?
Yes, of course, we've been planning about for this transport infrastructure project. It's not just Holy Ghost. It's Holy Ghost, which is called Enugu Central Station. And then you have the Gariki Central Station, Ababa Central Station, and Nsukka Central Station as part of phase 1. So the project scope has been done, the contractors vetted, then notices given, stakeholder engagement done. So we've been on this since September, and the notices were actually given on 13th of October 2023. So it's more than 7 months, and we actually wished we could have started this thing early on in the dry season, but unfortunately, because the governor is trying to make sure he manage the stakeholders and people can remove their properties on time, he extended that time, and actually as of this morning, the government have started the initial demolition.
Okay. I was going to ask you, right? So, how exactly will this bus terminal operate, and what's the system of operation? And also, apparently, when it's done, right, how are there going to be ticketing plans for customers too?
Yes. So how you should think of these terminals is like an airport for buses, right? And these 2 terminals: Terminal 1 for interstate, and Terminal 2 for intra-city. And in this terminal, you have different gantries that certain routes of buses has to be positioned. And then, of course, all the activities there are digitized. Already in the Ministry of Transport, all our payments are digitized. So by the completion of this terminal, every payment will still be digitized. And they're going to be using a card. Think of what they use in Lagos, the Cowrie card. So our own will be called EJ card, right?
Nice.
And the EJ card has all the information. You can even use it to get health insurance. Drivers can use it to do other things. And that ensures revenue assurance, makes money. And it also keys into the mass transit program that the administration is embarking on. So the administration has actually ordered for 50 BRT buses. And the next 3 months to 4 months, they will be here. And that is part of the first phase of the Smart City Transport Program.
That's a lot of that's a lot, and obviously it will cost a lot as well. So how is this project going to be financed majorly?
So in transportation there is money there, right? Transportation is a real sector that generates money on a minute by minute basis. So it's not a charity affair. And yes, the state is engaging, is financing these transport terminals, but also we are partnering with investors to off-take it. And we believe that the infrastructure will actually break even in a short while.
The drivers, because there's going to be ticketing, obviously there's going to be drivers as well. Is there going to be like a selection process for the drivers, or the drivers that are already driving around and having their buses, they have to register Like, what is the process? Are they going to register to continue to be part of to be part of it, or there's going to be a different selection? A new driver is going to be employed? Is it going to be on an employment basis?
Or,
is it going to be a commission
drivers
kind
are
of
working
thing?
on shifts and stuff like
So
that? Yeah.
what's the plan for
what the
drivers?
government is doing is providing infrastructure, whether it's physical or digital, and it's democratized, right? So the terminal, anybody can use the terminal, but of course there is a process of how the terminal must be used. So in terms of the buses that are coming to the state, it will be managed by proper private sector that have track record of managing assets, transportation assets, right? It's not going to be managed by N-Traco, for example, right? And in terms of the digital platform, it's for anybody to use, but that's just the mode for payment in the terminal.
You know, in Nigeria, right, we have a problem with maintenance culture, right? So how would this park be maintained? The overhaul, you know, maintaining this park when is done?
Yeah, that's why we in the contracting we've structured that the construction company will actually also have a maintenance contract to ensure that there is sustainability for the next 50 to 100 years. There is a massive infrastructure that will actually drive efficiency and make Enugu modern, right? And also bring down the cost of transportation.
Okay, sure. I want to bring you back to the EJ card, right? Because apparently some people, it's going to be sounding so alien to them right now. So can I actually, walk us through how this process is going to be, and how the card is going to be working and all that stuff? Yeah, definitely, it's not just because of the transportation, healthcare, and all that, right? So, but I know so many viewers right now will be like, EJ card, what's up with this and all that, right? So can you just walk us through how the concept and how it's going to be?
Yeah, so EJ card is just a digital card wallet, right, that allow you to load either by transfer or you go to an agent, right, close to any terminal.
You load monies to the card as units.
Yes. Of course, if you also want to do direct debit from your salary account, however you want to, but you have the full control of this card. And that is what you'll be using to move around in the state, which is also safe.
Yes.
So nobody will be trying to snatch your purse, because they will know that you don't necessarily have cash in there, right? And of course, the money in the EJ card is meant for transportation, right? So there is nothing anybody can do, and it's unique to you, right? And then, of course, in the EJ card, when you, let's say, some people that are disabled, the platform we have, the smart transport system, can actually extend certain level of discounts to elderly, to students, to disabled. So it makes things quite interesting. And with that digital footprint, a financial institution might be able to see actually how you are topping up and paying back, and they can extend credit. So it helps us to build that credit culture, which is important for the first world that Enugu State is trying to be part of.
Would this EJ card be, for example, you said that we're going to have intracity and interstate. So can you also make, like, if you want to travel to Anambra or Lagos or Bayelsa, can you make use of your EJ card as well?
Of course, it's just like how you use your ATM. It doesn't matter where you're going, whether you're going to the US. Once you tap, the money comes out, and the transporter will get their money.
He's going to have his own designed device, right?
Yes. So, they are normally powered with a normal smartphone system. So yes.
But now, still on this EJ card. So we've established that we can use it here in Enugu from the park and all of that. But say I went to Lagos and I'm coming back, and I use it from Lagos back to Enugu.
No, because it's not a national card; it's a closed-loop system, right? But of course, what Enugu is always positioning itself is to be that pace setter in the country, and we believe that maybe, at least maybe in the southeast, working together with my colleagues, other commissioners of transportation, we might be able to extend the back-end technology for them and actually maybe help them just tweak few things to suit their state, and then it becomes also a regional card.
Yeah, the synergy is going to be very important, right? And also, I think if we have a terminal that is in Lagos or let me say Abuja, that is coming in down here and is regards to our transportation company right here, I definitely have to have the device there to use your EJ card.
Yes.
I guess, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It has NFC, is able to be used at POS points, so that is already a known technology.
Yes,
so
yes.
there's nothing alien about it. Yeah.
All right. So now, earlier in the show, we're talking about compensation, and I had questions. I was like, how does compensation work? Is it that the people tell you, oh, this is how much I want or I deserve to be compensated? This is the value of what the government is going to take away from me, and this is how much I want? Because we've seen people that have received receipts of their compensation. So what were the procedures that were in place to compensate these people?
So compensation, of course, starts with the owner of the property, right? And the owner of the Holy Ghost Terminal, for example, where the Holy Ghost Terminal will be situated, is the Nigerian Railway. So there is no tenant there. There is the owner. The owner of that place is Nigerian Railway. So they leased out some of the spaces to people for 10, 25 years. And then people, of course, built some structures on them, right? And of course, in the agreement, Railway has right to recall their land anytime with a 6 months notice or pay you in lieu of your rent. So you have to finish conversation with the owner of the land. And then the owner of the land will value their assets, the assets there. So that is what was done. So there is two independent valuers, right? One that we recommended and one that Railway recommended. And then after that, a valuation was agreed. And then, of course, that is now attached to different structures that are owned by different tenants. And then after that, there is a letter that Railway issued terminating the leases. And of course, tabulating all the monies that are due to you as one of their tenants, less any of the debt you're owing them. You might be owing them rent or something. And then they now ask you to submit your account for payment. And then the account has to be account that matches the name of the entity that leased property from them. So you can't use your personal account because people might come back in future and dispute that they never got paid. So that is how the process works.
Okay.
So why did the government see this as a priority tax at this point in time?
So of course you see there is a lot of focus on infrastructure.
Yeah.
Right. We haven't made significant leap on infrastructure in past years. So that is critical. We need to not even just catch up. We need to take our state to the next level. So it is important, apart from just building roads, you have to build the other enablers and ancillaries that make road efficient. So you see in Enugu, we don't have proper bus stops. The bus stops don't have laybys. In fact, it doesn't even work, right? You don't have parks. So any person can be passing anywhere and wave down a keke, wave down a bus. So that means you can actually drive safely in the city, right? So you need to be able to have parks where vehicles move people from point A to point B, B to C. And everybody knows that is how it works.
The coordination.
Yes. And then it also allows for safety of people. Mm. So nobody will be snatched on the road by kidnappers.
Some random,
because you're always inside a controlled environment. Either you're inside a park or you're inside a bus, right? So those things are very critical for the city to be able to work. Building roads is not enough. You have to have all these enablers. And then there's even more, which is on the trucks. What do you do on the big trucks? So the state, we were able to attract investors that are building logistics hubs in Ubolafo, in 9th Mile, and in Emene. So that should be able to mop up over 6,000 trucks on a daily basis. And according to our projection, we have over 3,400 trucks passing through the state on a daily basis. So we've actually doubled the capacity for trucks. And when you're able to get trucks to park in the right places and called up when they need to come and offload, right? And then you have buses and vehicles inside parks and moving from parks to park or going into proper bus stops that have labor. The city will work.
Finally. I think we've said a lot, and I'm sure that people that are watching are like, really excited, because I'm particularly
You'll be
excited.
jumping inside of officer, right? Like, I want it to. I just want to see.
Yeah, I'm particularly excited for the EJ card. It makes a lot of sense. Just imagine taking your card.
I know, they twitch part of it. That's
who doesn't want that? But I think one of the things that is always a major problem he has said maintenance culture for the park, but now what is the sustainability plan? I don't want it to be something that starts and after a while we start to hear, oh, this one has failed.
After this
you have all these expectations, and then it goes well for like the first 1 year or 1.5 years or even 6 months, and then we start to hiccup and all of that. Oh, it's no longer in interesting hand. We start to. So what is the sustainability plan for it?
So sustainability, of course, it goes even from the design. How do you power that place? So it's all solar powered, right? And then you talk of management, right? So it's just like an airport, right? There is going to be a manager of that infrastructure, and you want to give it to the people that have the experience to actually manage and maintain it, right? And then it's pure private sector driven once it's completed. So of course the private sector want to make sure they make their money.
Yeah.
So if the park deteriorates, the terminals deteriorate, they won't be able to make their money, right? That's why you see in Nigeria now, the federal government is concessioning all the major airports that they have constructed, right? So that the thing will be sustainable. Of course, there is the key role the government plays, which is to be able to create policy, monitor, ensure that there is no extortion of Enugu in any of those practices.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you very, very, very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. Of course, I'm very excited, like I said, and I hope that, very soon we get to be there live at the launch, official launch, and, have the whole thing start running, because it's a really, really, like you said, transport is not something that we've been hearing much about. So it being priority now makes a lot of sense, because we also need to hear something from the transport sector. So thank you very, very much for joining us
on
the morning show. And of course, we're looking forward to when it is finally launching.